Hello, how you doing? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record two videos. The first video is going to be me explaining to you all what it is that I need for you all to do today. And then the second video is going to simply be me reading everything from the beginning to the end. All right, so let's get started. So let's start with our key understanding for this particular lesson. Um, you all should be able to understand the availability of resource and cultural practices and how they influence agricultural practices and land use patterns. The key points for today's lesson: agricultural production regions are defined by the extent to which they reflect subsistence or commercial practices, otherwise monocropping or monoculture. Intensive and extensive farming practices are determined in part by land costs or bid rent theory. Large scale commercial agricultural operations are replacing small family farms. Also, complex commodity chains link production and consumption of agricultural products. Finally, technology has increased economies of scale in the agricultural sector and the carrying capacity of the land. Today's objective: students will be able to explain challenges and changes to the spatial organization of contemporary agriculture and food production practices in the U.S. You're due now. What I need for each of you all to do, depending upon your class period, is to choose the correct link. You're familiar with this process, you've done this for months. Choose the correct link so that you can complete today's do now. It will send you to Albert.io. Remember, your login is your school email, and I think it should just automatically log you in. All right. Now, let's get started. You might want to press pause so that you can complete the do now. So the directions for today's lesson. What I want you to do is I want you to read the article below and then answer the stop and jot questions as you read. After you've answered the questions, I want you to reread the articles and highlight using ESPN. So your CFS, real simple. Answer the stop and jot questions, reread the articles, and finally highlight using ESPN. You'll notice ESPN is highlighted, or there's a hyperlink for ESPN. And what that basically is it will send you to the class site so that you'll see ESPN and have a better understanding of what E, economy, means, S, social or society means, P, political or government, and N is for environment. Okay. Finally, what I want you to do is I want you to use the following Google Meet link to help each other with your work. All right. So you'll click on that link and you'll be able to help each other through the lesson. Now, if at any time you need further explanation, you can always email me or you can ask me to hop in on that that Google Meet. I'll be more than happy to help answer any questions that you all may have. Also, if you have problems reading or understanding the reading, I am going to provide you with a link so that you can hear me speak or read. So, like let's say you don't understand what a particular word or several words mean, you can just listen to me read and it'll make much more sense to you. Okay. So obviously, you're going to read this, you're going to answer your stop and jot questions as you go. Once you're done with your stop and jot questions, what you are then going to do, and of course, you definitely want to answer all of your stop and jot questions. You then want to come here and you want to identify the topic of what it is that you've just read. Like, what is the topic? Well, like, if you could boil it down to 2 or 3 words, what would be the topic of what you just read? Time frame. Remember, time frame is looking, you have two choices. Is this contemporary or current, or is this historical? Now remember, there is one thing that helps you to determine whether something is contemporary or historical. If it is or has happened within the past 20 years, then it is considered contemporary or current. If it has happened outside of those 20 years, then it is considered historical. All right. So we are currently in 2021. What that means is that if something happened from 2001 until this date, it would be considered current. If it happened prior to 2001, that would be considered historical. Scale of inquiry: local, regional, national, international. In other words, what you've read, is it local, regional, national, international? And then, of course, you want to provide your rationale. The rationale is important because you might look at something and you might say, Mr. Watson, this is local. This is 100% local. Okay, give me your rationale. It might be local. Someone else might look at the same thing and say, nah, this is national. Give me your rationale. It might be national. All right, identify the world regions mentioned in the articles. I need to hyperlink that as well. But if you use the hyperlink for ESPN, it is found there. The world regions are also found there as well on that same page, exact same page. There's actually no difference in that page. And then next, it has keywords. Explain how each of the following vocabulary words relates to each article. So, economies of scale. So, what I want you to do, and I've shown you this in the past, what I want you to do is I want you to copy those words, economies of scale, right? And you're going to place it in your Google search bar. So, let's do that right now. All right, so copy. Hopefully, it is going to capture that. Then we're going to type AP Human Geography, right? Because this gives us the exact definition that we're looking for as it specifically relates to AP Human Geography. And then boom, what pops up? Economies of scale. The definition is the savings in cost per unit due to increasing the level of production. All right. So that's economies of scale. That would be your definition. And then so on and so forth for each preceding possible definition. And then you're going to relate that to the article. In other words, how was this mentioned? How was this talked about in Article 1? How was this talked about in Article 2, if at all? Not all terms are in both articles. Okay. And then finally, categories. Use your annotations to categorize factors from both articles. Remember, you're to read the article twice. On the second time that you read the article, what you're doing is you are annotating. All right. Remember, when you annotate, you should be annotating no more than 2 or 3 words at a time. If you annotate a whole paragraph, you are not annotating correctly. You are not annotating correctly. I cannot emphasize that any more than that. You should be annotating no more than 2 or 3 words at a time. Why? Because within one sentence, you might have an example for economic, social, and political, all in one sentence. And because we're talking about agriculture, you can bet it's going to be a whole lot of environment. Okay, so look at each individual word. Is this word economic in nature? Is it social? Is it political? Is it environmental? That's that's how you should be thinking about it. Okay. And then finally, you get to the exit ticket, right? So you see the criteria for success. You're very familiar with the criteria for success. You see the 4 questions: part A, part B, part C, part D. Now, you'll notice the exit ticket, it has a link, right? So that link will send you directly to Illuminate. That is where you'll answer your exit ticket questions. Also here, same link, same place. No difference. It's just, do you want to click here? Do you want to click here? All right. Do you want to simply click here before you read the CFS, or do you want to read the entire CFS and the questions before you answer it? You can, if you want to, you can use this space right here, right now to answer your questions transfer your answers, copy and paste your answers from this into Illuminate. It's all completely and totally up to you, right? All right. So that's what I want you to do. If you have any questions about what I've asked you to do, email me. I will be more than happy to help. All right. And so what I'm going to do now is I am going to read everything for those of you who need me to read. All right. Let's see if I can end this. Looks like I can't. Let me see. Oh, that's not good. To love you, man, to be with you for life. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's not working. How you stop this? This is not good.